Disclaimer. This video is made for entertainment purpose only, it doesn't mean to hurt anyone, and don't take it seriously.
Is that pizza?
Yes, Chicago pizza.
Oh, Chicago pizza. Those pictures of it?
Yes. That's the only one I got while I was there.
That one pizza?
Yes, one of them, the one on the right, I think was pepperoni. Or, yeah, I guess that's how you'd see it. Yeah. And then,
It's a pepperoni pizza.
my sister's was some weird, sister and nieces was some weird compilation of, what the hell they had on there? Mushrooms, green pepper,
Mushroom.
sausage, whole bunch of shit on there. It's like 4 things on there. Durbin's in the Chicago area. I wanted to try a place called Palermo's, but they were closed at 9 o'clock on a weekday. So,
Oh, they were.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah. By the end, I mean, I wasn't there any part of the weekend. That may have made a difference, but I was there Monday night through Friday, basically. So, but I had patty melts, which a couple times that was the best patty melt ever in Chicago area. A couple other things like breakfast kind of tacos; those were pretty damn good, and I did have a pizza puff as well. Good stuff.
What's a pizza puff?
It is a deep fried kind of pizza pocket's the best way to describe it. Do you have them out there? At least in the Phoenix area, do you? If you ever seen it kind of in a Chicago grease joint or something like that, it was really good. Obviously, a place called Mickey's back in Oak Forest, Illinois. But they also have a patty melt, which I kind of get like a bacon melt, kind of bacon patty melts on rye with the bacon instead of onions.
Well, as promised, the edited version.
We got a personal foul laid here on the quarterback, number 88, and unsportsmanlike conduct, number 88.
This took seconds.
Has been disqualified.
I'm pretty sure someone else has done this. Oh.
If not, you are the first. Make sure you label that short. Jim Ross calls the referee.
I think it was funny how it just felt perfect.
No, yeah, that was good. It's got a family, damn it.
They have a whole bunch of those clips. He's got a family.
They killed him.
So anyway,
who is they, Jim Ross? Who is they?
So to catch up on our time away from each other, we have watched movies. You've finally seen Iron Claw?
I did.
And
I did see Iron Claw.
Was it good or bad wrestling professional?
It was depressing, as to be expected, given the fact of, how many kids die in there. I think they probably still should have put the other kid in there. He was one of the brothers. They referenced one who died, but then they completely omitted Chris Von Erich. They didn't even say. I think that may have made it a little more morbid, but why are you doing the story if you're excluding another one who had died? So I don't know what the point of the film was to do, but yeah, there was another brother who died in it that they just completely omitted.
Was he a wrestler?
Excuse me. He was very young, I think.
So who was?
I don't know if he.
Who was the baby? Who was the young
point.
kid? The baby one that was in there that was hanging out with the fishing boat.
Yeah, he died real young. I think that was one. But the Chris, I want to say he was maybe 11, 12 years old. I want to say. You got your probably computer near you, but yeah, Chris Von Erich. Yeah, I know. Obviously would have been.
Well, how did you know? How do you know who this guy is?
Well, I knew the story of the Von Erichs, so I knew how many, and in fact, except for the small baby, I wasn't aware. I don't think I was.
So
I knew
Chris,
that. I knew
Chris,
Chris committed suicide. I think is how he died.
Chris Von Erich was in wrestling.
No, he was.
Yes, he was on.
How old was he when
He
he
was born
he
on
died?
September 30th, 1969. And so he died in 1991.
Ooh, wow.
So he was very old. He was probably 20.
Suicide?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that I don't know why. If you're gonna do that story,
here it is. Here is why.
if you're gonna do that story.
It's in Variety magazine.
Yeah.
It said revolves around the Erich family, a dynasty of professional wrestlers. In recent interview, Los Angeles Iron Claw filmmaker Sean Durkin explains why he decided not to include the youngest Von Erich, who also wrestled but struggled to match his brother's success due to his asthma and brittle bone condition. Hey, that's like that little dwarf dude that was in the other one episode we had. Remember the guy had brittle bone disease and they wanted him to wrestle?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Little dude that rode around a little electric cart.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one where we same episode we did the short with the voice?
Yeah.
Hey,
remember?
man, pay your dues, man.
Yeah. No, that's the other dude. That was the redneck guy. This is that little dude with the ponytail. Yeah, he had the little sunglasses.
The mohawk, right?
He's like, I want to wrestle, but I can't because I have really brittle bones. I sneeze and I break 4 ribs. So,
oh, he had the same name as one of the wrestlers or something, didn't he? I forget what the hell his name was. Yeah.
So they just said there was a repetition to it, and it was no more tragedy than the film couldn't really withstand. Durkin said of a version that included all the brothers.
The film. Yeah, but that's the point of doing a film. It's an enormous tragedy, and then if you're going to do the film, do the real story, like all brothers. I mean, that would just show I know that would have probably even been extra depressing, but why are you doing the film then? It would be my question.
So it was the tragedy. He didn't die in 1991. He died in 1985. I think it's.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was young. He was young when he died. So he was 69, born in 69, died in 85.
He wasn't that young. They said he died suddenly in 1984 at age 25. So that all these dates are wrong. He must have been a lot older.
Yeah. See, I thought he was
younger. Adding that the removal of Chris from the final version was an impossible choice that he fought against for a while. Durkin also decided not to contact Kevin until he finished writing the script. Huh? Who knew? I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
I knew.
You did. Obviously, you did, and obviously other wrestling people know because the Von Erich family looks like there's 5 brothers and a little one. Yeah. 6 brothers. There were 6 boys.
The 6th brother was the
one who died early.
The one who was as a child in that kind of heaven sequence that they did. I mean, there's lots of
it
was good
articles about why he's not in it.
Yeah, so. I mean that would be the biggest gripe on my part. I don't get not putting him in it because already the story. It's gonna be depressing. I mean, obviously, if you know the story going in, it is. But I mean, obviously, that was a Hollywood decision. But for me, why are you doing that? Why do it without the entire tragedy? It's shows if your story focusing around Kevin and how he's like the sole survivor and then his sons at the end, that would just show more resilience. I would think all of his brothers died.
Yeah, this Wikipedia one is not correct. Because it said he was born in 1969, he died in 1991, but that's not true at all. Yeah. So in this movie, then who's still alive? Any of them?
Kevin and his 2 sons at the end.
So you wonder why he did. Why?
Which was really sad. He's crying there watching his 2 sons, and then his sons go over there and console him. Like, geez, man. I mean, but if you're going to do the film, you had the other brother in. I don't. Like, obviously, it's going to wreck people if you have a heart. I mean, it's a sad film. I mean, I think one of our listeners, Ishu, was doing that. He's like, I'm probably not going to watch this one again. And I'm like, yeah, I don't something like that is tough to watch. I mean, like Passion of the Christ. I mean, it's going to wreck you. It's tough to watch. Those type of movies that are really taking you for.
I told you it was sad. I told you it was a sad movie. I watched
absolutely.
It. Very sad.
Yeah, very sad. I mean, I think that's Peacock, right? It was on Peacock.
It's on Max.
Or Max? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have Max. I don't have Max anymore. But at the time when I seen it, I did. That was the Black Friday deal that ran out. But hey, I know on Peacock, Night Swim is on there.
Anybody wants to help our podcast, please Venmo MC money.
I don't
every time he has something, it's always on a Sunday sale or something. It's like, yeah, there's a special going on right now. I bet you those pizzas were probably 2 for $1. The picture behind you, correct?
My sister got them. That wasn't me.
Oh, is the one with
shout out to my beautiful sister?
Is the one with the mushroom and shit to your right, my left?
No, this one.
Yeah, look
at it. That's the one.
It looks like there's stuff just thrown in it, and kind of looks like a science experiment.
I don't like that one. I didn't have any of that one. I had the one behind me, but this one that I'm in front of. But yeah, that one's like mushroom.
You can see a mushroom. You can see a
mushroom sausage.
You can see a whole mushroom shoved into one of those slices. Looks like it's almost part of the slice. That guy was just like, it's like end of the night.
Too much shit.
We got to get rid of this mushroom, so we're gonna shove it all in this pizza.
Too much shit. I like pizza, but
pizza with some of your mushroom. Well, okay. So Iron Claw was sad. Have you seen any other movies since we've not talked in a couple months?
Man, it's been so long since we did the last episode. Iron Claw. Has it been April? Seems like it's been years. I want to say I did, but I can't think of anything right now, and I'm drawing a blank. Like it's I've seen it.
Last show we talked, I was in
movie.
Laughlin, Nevada, doing a show at the casino. So
yes,
since then, I've been traveling around doing shows.
Busy man.
And next week, I'll be at another place in Yuma called the Crest Lounge. So
I would like to promote where I'm going to be, but by the time this episode drops, I'll already been there.
Shut up. I get a lot of emails from YouTube now about, ooh, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? We're going to have to throw you off the air, mister. So anyways, here's my
movie. I want to say I've seen. Why am I drawing a blank? It's like one of those horror movies, I think, that I could have swore and I'm drawing a blank.
I haven't been seeing any movies. So since Iron Claw was the last movie I saw in the theaters, that was it. So I'm ready for the theater. Wolverine. I'm ready for Wolverine versus Deadpool. That's the movie.
I've seen yeah, that one's gonna be a huge one. I finished the X-Men 97. I highly recommend that. That wrapped up. Very cool series. I know you don't want to give them the plug.
We're going to give it 4 juice boxes.
Good shit.
Four juice boxes out of 5.
Shut up, you bastard! It's not a children's show. It's like it takes you back.
By the way,
it's a lot of cool stuff in there.
Afterwards will be a PSA from Cobra Commander. G.I. Joe.
You would have liked this. I gave my buddy. I seen it for half price. We're heading over there. One of the nights I was there, it was a Cobra Kai card game. It was actually pretty cool. Right. It might still be in like Walmart.
Still coming out. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it might still be in Walmarts now. But yeah, I guess you have a choice of 4 dojos. You have like Priest's Cobra Kai, Silver's Cobra Kai. You got Eagle Fang or Miyagi-Do. And
have you seen the video of the dude fishing, filming himself, and some guy wants to fight him? And the fucker pulls out nunchucks, starts whipping him around. The guy's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You ever heard of Kumite or the
Kumite from Bloodsport?"
It was so bad. It's like 1987 Kumite champion. All right.
Van Damme, motherfucker, Van Damme, Bloodsport.
Well, he has nunchucks. He just carries them around. It reminds me of when I was in high school. Just had them in my back pocket, just to fuck around with and act like I'm going to get in a street fight. Out of the dumbest things I could carry around, nunchucks were probably the stupidest.
This is how I remember what I watched. Dune.
No.
Dune 2, that I watched. Actually, I went and watched every Dune except for whatever the weird TV series I heard. It was bizarre, but I seen Dune 2, the one that just dropped, and then the original Dune from 1984 with Sting, the singer.
Oh, well, so there you go. Now you're speaking my language. Dune from, what is it, 1984?
Yeah, but though you say I take it you didn't see, obviously.
Back with Wolverine 1997 and X-Men. That's the stuff we go back and watch.
See, well, I could say what have you watched? And
I just watched Brewster's Millions. I just watched Brewster's Millions.
I've been doing shows, motherfucker. I'm a comedian, bitch.
I watched Brewster's Millions. That was a good show. I rewatched Smokey and the Bandit because I don't know why. So
I seen Deal or No Deal Island. That was also on Peacock.
Yeah, I don't watch Peacock.
You have it though for the football, right? You still have it?
I do.
Yeah, like I don't want to have it.
They're gonna fuck
us.
But
they're forcing me to have it.
Amazon, Peacock, they're all gonna fuck us this year on NFL Ticket. I can see it happening, man. There's a Friday game. There's a Friday game to start the year, isn't there? Yeah, I'm gonna spend $300 and so many dollars, and I'm gonna get like 7 games. Did I tell you that dude that I was doing comedy with has a season tickets for the Raiders? And he sits in the black hole, and he told me.
You told me
that he spends $98,000 for those tickets, which is basically like $5,000 a seat. So it's
98,000 for so it's half the games, which is what 8 games? No, it's 7.
It's
8. Yeah, it's good.
8.
There's 2 buys, right?
It's about
16 games.
It's about $10,000 a game for 2 seats.
Who the fuck has $10,000 a game?
Some of these tickets I'm looking up, they're like $5,000 for a seat. So all I thought to myself is, what the fuck?
Why?
I mean, I get pissed off when it's $85 to play golf. So can you imagine?
I get mad when I have to pay a streaming subscription.
Fuck yeah, I get mad at the electrician who's like, "Sorry, I was $100 off," and you're like, "What the fuck?" Can you imagine going to a game? No wonder fans are angry. They spent a quarter of their salary going to watch a team play. Ugh.
It was about $70 a seat for it was under the upper deck. It was about $70 a seat when we went to that Cubs White Sox game in Wrigley Field. So that was $70.
70 a seat.
70 a seat.
Fuck, man. See,
yeah.
And then how much did you get anything?
That's with fees, obviously.
Did you get anything?
Supposed to be like a 55. That's the funny thing. Yeah, that's funny you say that. I did not. My sister, who's the biggest sweetheart, she treated us, even my one buddy. We got parking. Let's get this. Me and my buddy split the parking, obviously. $50 to park about a block from the game.
Well,
from the stadium. $50.
I didn't talk to you that weekend. I was doing shows in Glendale. To park for these like monster truck shows and shit they were having in that parking lot.
Yeah.
Dude, it was ridiculous. It was like $100 to park.
That's ridiculous.
And I'm just like, holy shit. No wonder everybody's just wandering around the streets trying to get to
we're barely there for 3 hours, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, I'll just pull back the curtain, whatever. So I got the flight fairly under $100. But to park at the airport too, to shuttle in, I think it was like, if you would have went under their garage, but they were full. So it was like their thing was like $20 a day. I think it was $16 a day when it's not covered parking in there. I ended up, I didn't even have a choice. So I ended up having to go to the economy parking, which was $11 a day. So it was over half my plane ticket was another, on top of that was just to park at the airport, which is funny because it was just like, I was just crazy. It's like everything is just so damn expensive.
Well, here's an example.
So a hot dog was like $16.50, just to answer the question. That's fucking ridiculous. A hot dog. $16.50 for a hot dog.
Back in 2022, the Colts tickets were anywhere from $3,000 for club seating. So they were anywhere from $370 to almost $2,000 a seat. That's just crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, everything is so damn nuts. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you looked up, but we've talked a lot about wrestling on our show a lot of times. WWE events are super expensive too, and that's not even the WrestleMania. You're just talking like you go to like a premium live event or a Raw or SmackDown,
and it's predicted.
This shit's fucking ridiculous. Yes. You wonder why people.
The outcome's not even like it's already been decided before you even bought a ticket. You're like, God damn, I hope he wins. I hope he wins this one.
It is what it is. It ain't different than going to a movie, and you know that fucking.
You're gonna be like, I hope he wins this one. I hope The Rock shows up.
You know that Johnny Lawrence is gonna lose to the Karate Kid, so it's not any different than that.
I don't doubt you can afford. I mean, everything's the fucking ticket prices of everything is going up, and even
the reduced food, which is the fresh food that I'll buy reduced, they're even jacking that up too now. They're like, we know you're not going to pay regular price for his food, so they're jacking up. This shit is going to expire in the next day or two.
This is
and
why
you still have it jacked up.
Yeah, this is why you should watch our podcast because it's free. It's free.
Exactly.
We don't charge shit, man. You could watch it for free.
Yeah, you don't have to subscribe. We're not even hacking a Patreon or anything from you guys.
No, we're doing nothing.
Just subscribe. That's all we ask of you.
MC a few bucks so he can afford a hot dog at the next baseball game he goes to.
I would buy shit. I ate
the next thing.
Nachos and a cold pretzel, but
have you seen this?
Oh, look at the size of that guy. 2-on-1 fighting.
It's Eddie Hall. It's Eddie Hall, the strongest man in the world.
My goodness.
Recently fought two dudes.
Twins?
He's fighting two twins. Obviously, they're a lot smaller than him. But dude, he hammers this dude right in the face. And I saw him training in some videos because I follow him because it's part of lifting. But I didn't know he was gonna fight. This is kind of one of those things where it didn't really go out into the you think pay-per-view. Somebody would have tagged this and said, we're doing this because Eddie Hall's a power lifter. He's the world's strongest man. He's not a fighter. Watch this shit. Watch this. Oh. So pretty much he just overpowers these dudes and just beats the hell out of them.
And what is
look at that shit. That's
so as soon as
he's probably about 400 pounds, 425 pounds. Dude,
so but
right when he hits this dude right here, this guy
gets up.
Yeah,
so
watch.
What constitutes a fight stop?
Right there.
That.
Well, so they stop the fight for this part because this dude gets knocked out.
Okay, so he's out.
This guy's gets a chance to regroup. He's almost looks like he's fighting in some kind of Muppet theater type of just. I mean, look at it. There's probably about 1,000 people. It's definitely not.
Muppet theater.
It's not a huge event, but for some reason this went on, and they treated it was almost like wrestling. Like these two dudes were talking shit to him. He's huge, so everybody's excited. So then they let this other guy get back up. I mean, Eddie Hall he's a huge dude. He's like one of the world's strongest men. So then they're like, make sure this guy's not dead after getting hit. And then he just chases this guy around. And it's like watching a lion trap its prey. And this is where it ends. He just pummels him. And just hit him a few times. Okay. I mean, what's the point, right? This guy. And what they're saying is like, told you size does matter. Obviously, that dude, you couldn't hit him enough. You'd have to get a bar and smack him over the head with it.
Yeah, their only chance would be like if they're, because say if I'm assuming those two guys were real MMA fighters. Otherwise, they're just idiots.
I don't even know. I don't even know. It's just it showed up.
But like if you
it showed up,
you
on
kick
the
them in a leg and they're kicking whatever banana trees is what Sebastian Maniscalco would talk about. kicking banana trees. But like, yeah, I mean, you would imagine you'd want to break his leg, because if you couldn't break his leg with a kick, you have no shot. The guy is massive; he's just going to pummel you. But he tried to kick his leg. I think right near the end, and the guy punched him in the face. So it's like his reach is so far, and he's so powerful. It's like, yeah, you have one chance to break his shin or something, and then if you don't, you're dead.
So then it leads me to the next thing I pulled up, because I started seeing this 2-on-1 fighting shit.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fight little people.
Where these dudes 2-on-1 start fighting everybody. So then on Instagram, this new fight league just started in Romania, and they call it I don't know what they call it, but it doesn't make any sense other than this would actually probably be more entertaining than the Eddie Hall just beating the shit out of those two skinny dudes.
That guy's ginormous.
So there's a big fat guy, and he's fighting these women, right?
Oh, jeez.
And so watch it though. They have headgear on. It just looks like a bar fight.
Yeah, bro.
It makes no sense, right? Why?
Why would you want to even see that though? Right? Like, unless the chicks get the fucking shot. Otherwise, it's just like, of course he's gonna do that to them. I mean, in most cases,
he wasn't doing anything though. He was getting smacked around too. It looked like
at first, but I mean, it
looked like they hired drunk people and they said, "Get in here. Let's just see who can beat up who, and we'll give you guys $100 each." Because that's what it looked like. It didn't even look like a real fight.
I would want to see him in the octagon with like a kangaroo or some shit like that. Like that would be entertaining.
Because we'd have a problem with it. We would
somebody would
say, listen. We don't want to see someone fight an animal, even though the animal's kicking the shit out of a person. Probably gonna
kick the shit out of him. Obviously, the animal.
I saw a video.
Just like
I saw the Mike Tyson. I saw the Mike Tyson thing that said Mike Tyson tried to pay someone to let him fight a monkey, a gorilla, and they said he wanted to pay $10,000 to let the zookeeper let the gorilla fight with him. And
what do you think about that fight getting postponed? They don't even have a new date, do they?
Well, hold on. We got one more. We got one more fight now. This is 2-on-1. This is 2-on-1 too. And this kind of leads to the animal thing that you just got to talking about.
All right.
Because we do have one with an animal fighting. And so here it is.
That's what I want to see.
Was you seen this?
No. What is that?
The best part of this video is the way the dog makes a noise. Listen, you'll hear it when he gets slapped.
Is that his head? Is that his head hitting the side of that?
No, I don't know what it is, but the dog gets hit, and after he gets hit, he's like, he gets smacked, and he's like, and he just stays like that. Like, I don't make eye contact with that cat, because he's like barking at the cat because they're playing, and the cat's like, "What the fuck you want?" And then the dog,
cat,
sees it and kind of cowers, and then when he hits him, he goes, and just pauses.
I've seen the
So
cat.
funny.
I've seen the cat slap the shit out of like baby. It's like they count how many times the baby may have slapped it, and it gives them the exact amount of time. Like this is tit for tat, motherfucker.
All
Hits
right.
them the same amount of times, exactly.
So the final wrap up is the Tyson Jake Paul fight, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, it's been
We just-
postponed now.
we just
did
got-
an episode on it.
Why is it postponed?
Wasn't
you
there
know-
like an
do you
in,
know
was
why?
that good? There was some injury or something like for it wasn't for Tyson. Wasn't going to be able to train as, so he wanted to have the ample enough time to train.
According to
he got
my
an injury.
children, he supposedly suffers some kind of stomach virus or something,
Yeah,
and that he can't
couldn't train. I think
he can't train appropriately. Do you think he needs to train appropriately to fight Jake Paul? Come on. Jake Paul, there's no way in hell is going to beat Mike Tyson regardless. And I was hoping they would really let this fight happen. But now that I see, so it's an ulcer flare up will stop 56-year-old Mike Tyson from fighting. An ulcer flare up. An ulcer flare up will stop him. An ulcer.
old people problems, right?
Exactly.
Gastrointestinal.
Acid reflux will stop
Acid
Tyson.
I was just thinking that acid reflux. So he will not be. He ate too much pizza from behind me in this episode, and now he can't fight.
Too many drugs have caused an ulcer. So it says during a follow-up consultation Thursday with medical professionals on the recent ulcer flare-up, the recommendation is for Tyson to do minimal to light training over the next few weeks and then returning to full training with no limitations. So we're talking a couple weeks, but I think they're not even going to do it. I think it's going to get passed.
They don't even have a date, right?
No,
you would think they'll just push it back 3 or 4 weeks or whatever.
I think it's just going to be passed through. I don't think we're ever going to see this fight. I think the Eddie Hall versus the two dudes would have been a better one to watch than that shit, because
they had a press conference and everything for the Tyson thing. That's a shame. You've seen it, right? That was some entertaining shit.
They really sold it. They sold it to us. They sold us a bag of shit, get Jake Paul's name in there, and then they just fucking had an ulcer flare up. Literally just
hangnail
flared up, and then shit just flushed down the toilet.
Mike has a hangnail. He will not be able to punch for a day or two. That's going to put him behind in his schedule.
Based on the arthritis that he suffered in his thumb, he ain't going to be able to box properly. So we're going to just do pissing. They're just going to argue with each other. That's going to be the fight. They're going to yell at each other. It's going to be a pillow fighting match. That's what they're going to show.
The brain damage that Mike received during his actual boxing career is preventing him from fighting. We can't get him cleared.
I will say that I watched, I don't know if I talked to you since then too. I watched the Roddy Piper since I have Peacock. Been watching WWE shit. And I watched
a lot of good documentaries on there.
Roddy Piper's documentary. And that fucker is like way underrated for what he did. Way underrated for the shit that he did, man.
I don't think we would have had if he wasn't such a great antagonist. I'm not sure that WrestleMania 1 is as popular, because he's the one that was kind of fueling the rock and wrestling portion of that with Cyndi Lauper. He ran his mouth. I mean, he was basically the villain you wanted to see get his ass kicked.
I loved it that they said he actually had a problem with Mr. T. That was just he's just fucking he's old school all the way. Like, he is what you say for us what wrestling is missing. You're missing that type of character who's truly that guy. He's truly on and off the ring, the camera, whatever. It's that person. And I think that's the cool shit that I like about wrestling, is that type of person. It's kind of like the Ric Flair one. When I watched the Ric Flair one, that one too, again, these dudes basically wrestled for shit like peanuts, man. And they got their asses handed to them, and they got beaten on, and they got fucking pay your dues by getting just pummeled. And then they stuck around and they became the characters they are. And that's the cool shit to watch. It's no more just how much can you jump around and flip around. It used to have that, like, it had a character flair. That's what the cool part was. You actually watched it because you actually liked the person. And I think that's gone away. The Rock, Stone Cold, all these guys now, you're not really buying into these characters as much as you used to. And I think that's the cool thing about when I watched it, I was like, I don't know if I like this or not. It did get kind of old because there wasn't a bad thing about what he was doing. He was just out there just scrapping. But
Yeah.
it is interesting because he wasn't dead, I don't think, when this was made. So he was still alive. But it's just funny to hear his stories because he's exactly the person you saw on TV. He was that guy. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah, a lot of those are really good. A lot of them sad, like kind of like when you see the Vice documentaries or the biographies are good on A&E too. If you have the A&E app, they have about 26 unlocked episodes where you don't have to have even a cable provider. A lot of people don't even have that anymore. But yeah, there's 26 unlocked episodes from the Iron Sheik. That's the one I just watched. I was starting to watch the DX one last night, but yeah.
I haven't been able to see any of the Dark Side of the Ring.
The new ones?
We don't get them on YouTube, and they're on Hulu, but they haven't released the new ones. But then it took me down a road of Dark Side of Comedy, and there's some crazy shit, man. And the funniest shit is a lot of these people are still alive.
Oh yeah, that's sad.
Like the Dark Side of Comedy. And barely any of the comedians they're talking about are on the episode talking for themselves. They're just talking about them and people telling stories about them. And it's like, they're still alive. You could probably interview Andrew Dice Clay if you really want to know. And that's another one. Have you seen these Dark Side of Comedies?
I have not, but I mean, there's so many probably
watch
ones you could do on so many different ones. Like,
sure. The Dice Clay one, I remember watching when I was a kid. The Dice Clay one was very interesting. And when he made the movie Ford Fairlane, and then everybody was like against him because they thought he was a piece of shit person. Like, talk about canceled. That was back then. They tried to cancel his ass. They wouldn't release his film without much promo, all that shit. And the funniest thing is when he started, he was an impersonator. He impersonated Elvis and he impersonated Nick Cage. And he did a shit like that. And so he was just a guy out there to entertain. And then he got into this gimmick. This was his gimmick, was to be who he was that got him popular, to be rude and crude. And dude, I don't know what else you just feel bad. And the guy's now, I mean, he's 60 something years old, still doing comedy. But that dude is still out there, and he did not appear once on this Dark Side of Comedy to talk about himself, like to talk about anything. They just pulled clips, and you're just like, crazy. Why wouldn't you ask him? Ask him.
Maybe he didn't want to do it.
I don't know, because again, I don't know. I mean, Artie Lang was on there. They had him on there, and they talked about all his shit and nothing. I mean, it's just some people are dead.
I mean. Yeah, Sam Kinison, George Carlin, Richard Pryor. I mean, did they do any on those or no?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
George would be Carlin, cool to see, Richard Pryor. But it's just, I don't know. Those Dark Side of the Rings have a couple. They have a comedy one, and then they have another one, and then they have
Dark Side of Music,
something like that. So
yeah, I'm sure there's got to be so many stories on that. They probably.
But they had Norm Macdonald on there too. The Norm Macdonald one was kind of interesting. And of course, he passed. But it was an interesting one to listen about.
I mean, Bob, what's his name? Bob. I think Super Dave. I can't remember Bob something. I can't remember his last name now. But yeah, he passed. He was obviously he had his storied history with the Super Dave show, and then he did
Super Dave
Osborne, and then Richard Lewis just died too. Couple of guys from Curb are gone. Yeah. Like Larry David is canceling his show because his cast isn't going to be alive much longer.
It's over. All right. Well, this is it. We wrapped it up. Another just talk session. Thanks for tuning in. Any podcast you listen, make sure you subscribe. We should have some episodes up. Thanks for hanging in there and being a loyal listener and viewer. All right, MC.
Appreciate all of you. Yes.
Enjoy those pizzas behind you. We will wrap it up.
Peace.